Oh dear, so the CDC have done it again. No, actually, they have outdone themselves. We'll tell you all about it.
Well, ahoy there, cruisers! Before we begin this video, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. It keeps this channel going and growing. So thank you so much.
Now, we don't like to bring you bad news, but this one is an absolute corker. The CDC have issued updated guidance on the resumption of cruise. We brought you the news yesterday, and they've done this surprisingly quickly. The Miami-Dade mayor spoke to the director, and she said she was super encouraged, stating that the CDC would be releasing new updated protocols. And it all sounded very positive. This got everybody in the cruise industry very excited. Could cruise start again in the USA? Would they be allowing vaccinated cruises to go ahead in the USA, like the rest of the world and here in the UK? The old conditional sail order was deeply out of date. The vaccination program in the US is steaming ahead, and cruises could now offer vaccinated cruises for passengers and crew, making them safer than they have ever been before.
Yeah, like us, when you heard that news yesterday, did you think, finally, there is light at the end of the tunnel, things are going to be happening, things are going to be changing? It was positive yesterday, wasn't it?
We even got some comments from people saying it's not going to be positive. You guys were right, and we're going to bring you that news. If you already didn't know, approved vaccines in the USA offer over 70% or higher effectiveness in stopping any COVID symptoms at all. But most importantly, all of them offer 100% effectiveness in stopping any type of severe COVID illness or hospitalization. So it was kind of bulletproof. It would make cruises so safe, with absolutely no risk of death or anybody even needing medical care on board the ship. No more than, say, like cold symptoms if people did get it on board. And even if it did spread on board, nothing would happen, nobody would die, nobody would get really sick. And because of all of the other protocols such as mask wearing and social distancing, this was another added layer of protection on top, wasn't it?
So what is this big update from the CDC and the news to the conditional sail order? Well, absolutely bugger all. And we're so sorry to swear, but we are so angry for our friends over in the USA. In fact, more has been added to make things even more difficult. So now they are recommending vaccines, not even requiring them. Why don't they just require them? And it makes them bulletproof. It makes these cruises safe. So the conditional sail order still stands, but with even more hoops to jump through.
Cruise lines like Royal Caribbean have already said that the conditional sail order is next to impossible to achieve. It's too costly, there's too many things to do, so this order may have made things even worse. Cruise lines are being wrapped in unnecessary red tape again, slowing things down. The CDC has been promising to release technical details for the cruise lines so they can get started on the conditional sail order, but they have still not done this, and now they've released even more protocols to stop cruising from starting. It's an absolute joke. So some of these extra procedures, including maybe not allowing more than one ship to operate from any one port at a time so they don't overwhelm the local medical services. But this isn't a problem because vaccines stop any hospital or care admission 100% of the time. So it makes absolutely no sense. So it's okay to see 800 flights depart from the same airport with hundreds of thousands of people, but it's not okay for cruise. And can you imagine this happening in big ports like Port Everglades or Miami, where lots of ships depart every single day? The plan even goes as far as saying embarking and disembarking passengers may not occupy the same enclosed or semi-enclosed areas. This includes things like gangways where you get onto the ship, terminal waiting areas and checking areas within the same 12-hour period. This is madness. So departures and arrivals would have to be spread out, causing complete havoc for cruise lines. Could you imagine if they did this at airports where you weren't allowed to use the same air bridge to get onto the plane? It is, guys, we can't say we are very positive people, but we just cannot believe that this is happening. It is complete and utter madness.
Essentially, they're turning what should be a turnaround day into 2 days. They don't want people using the same building for 12 hours between each person. That's insane.
And we're not just saying this, guys. You've got to remember, in between each and every cruise, the cruise lines themselves and the ports are thoroughly cleaning these areas with anti-static fogging machines, hand cleaning, massively cleaning all of these areas so they are the safest place you could possibly be. It's like saying a train can't depart from the same platform every 12 hours. It's madness.
At the end of every journey. Yeah, when it reaches its end station, that train has to then go and sit for 12 hours until it then can be used again. That is just insane. As you said, Ben, they're not doing this for airports, so what is different for cruise? Why the difference?
Could you imagine saying you're going to Walmart or Asda here in the UK, and that after you let the first 100 people in, you're not allowed to use that entrance again for 12 hours?
It's absolutely insane. It is insane.
What are you thinking, CDC? This is absolutely ridiculous. And we are so sorry for you, our viewers. We've got so many amazing viewers in the USA. Guys, all we can say is that we're so sorry this is happening to you. I mean, I know it's a first world problem with cruise, but this is just ridiculous.
The next phase of the conditional sail order will include simulated trial voyages that will allow the crew and port personnel to practice new COVID-19 operational procedures with volunteers before sailing with passengers.
We can't understand why they're even still requiring them to do this. Other forms of transport, such as flights, haven't had to prove any other tests. The cruise lines are not skimping here. They have brand new ventilation systems, cleaning everywhere all of the time, and hundreds of new protocols. They even have onboard hospitals with doctors.
They even have to have a fully fledged COVID lab on board these ships. I mean, do airports have these? Do resorts have these? Do hotels have these? Do theme parks have these? I don't think they do. Already in the US, people can travel freely on planes, buses and trains. These are terminals just as busy with full aircraft where you're sat 6 inches from a stranger. At least on a cruise, you can easily social distance. This is one of the biggest barriers in stopping the spread of COVID. And the CDC have announced that if you are vaccinated in the USA, you can now even travel domestically and internationally with no quarantine or anything.
And some people are still saying that aircraft are still safer than cruises, even though you are sat this close to somebody who could have COVID. Royal Caribbean have already proved with their new HVAC air circulation system, fresh air is pumped in and out of the cruise ship as much as aircraft, with sometimes the air circulation up to 20 times an hour. This means they're just as safe as aircraft. Still, they are being treated so differently.
And with this update comes absolutely no clarity at all at when cruising can resume. They've just majorly delayed everything again, and we haven't heard anything in almost 6 months. And then this. The CDC really should be ashamed of themselves, don't you think?
Yeah, and as you can see, David just said 6 months since we've heard anything. And as you can imagine, the CDC's news today has landed like a lead balloon. And Royal Caribbean CEO Michael Bailey suggested this might happen last week, saying, "We're worried that the guidance that we're going to get soon will be pretty outdated." And he was right.
So for cruise lines to even get started, they must apply for the conditional sailing certificate. Cruise lines must do this 60 days before a voyage. But before that happens, they need to run test sailings with volunteers and must provide written notice 30 days in advance. So we are still at least 3 whole months before we see any movement for cruise lines in the USA.
But for you, our friends in the USA, luckily some cruise lines have given up on waiting. For now, if you want to sail this summer, you can fly to Nassau in the Caribbean, St. Martin, Bermuda, or even Cyprus on Royal Caribbean, Celebrity Cruises, or Crystal Cruises. So there still is that option for you, but obviously it's going to be more expensive because there's fewer cruises, fewer cabins, and you're going to have to fly to these different places. We're so sorry to bring you this news. As soon as we hear anything else, we will bring it to you. So that's it for this episode. Please do make sure you subscribe for all of the latest cruise news information. We bring it to you as soon as we have it, and give the video a thumbs up. And thank you so much to all of our patrons as well. You are amazing. You keep our channel running while we're not cruising. We wouldn't be able to bring this content without you. And we bring you loads of behind the scenes footage, episodes, as well as postcards whilst we're away. Our captains of the week are Mark and Deborah. So ahoy there. That's it till next time. Happy cruising!